I have 4:15. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Sam Martin? Here. Bob Freeman? Here. Rick Morgan is here. Before we start into the red folder, we have a brief public input.
I got seven quick questions, okay? Do you think it's a good idea for people to play basketball out in a public parking lot?
I think it's a good idea for them to play basketball.
In a public parking lot.
Where are you talking about?
Right here's a hoop and parking lot.
Yeah.
It's just moving it. All right. I mean, they can play in here.
Well, they can play in here if it's open, and they can play in here if there's not a meeting present.
Right.
But there's been a basketball hoop on the edge of that parking lot.
Well, it's just one of those things, somebody can run into it, hurt, you never know.
You asked a question. Do you want an answer or do you want to make a statement?
I want it.
Okay. I'm telling you that there's been a basketball court out there since I was a kid. So I would presume that it will probably continue that way.
We got hoop.
Correct.
Seems like a safety hazard to me.
You're welcome to your opinion.
Okay. Now, I'd like to go back to the porta potty, just briefly back to the porta potty issue, right?
Okay.
Bruce, how many people go into that landfill every day? 200-300?
Every day?
Yeah.
Oh, can range between 75 to 100.
Okay. And you know how many elderly, 50, 65 years old?
I don't know.
You know, okay. I'm gonna estimate 60, okay? Now, some of these elderly people have continence problems, bladder problems, bowel problems, all that old age stuff. And there's a ball field down on Old Route 28. I've been here 7 years, I've seen 8 people in that ballpark, and there's a porta potty there. Well, why is that? I mean,
It is used periodically for sporting events, Little League, etc. The fact that you've seen 8 people there, I would guarantee you, in the course of the summer, a whole lot more than 8 people use that ball field. As far as to try to answer your question about the incinerator, which seems to be the central issue, what I asked, and I'm not opposed to putting a porta potty over there, what I asked our supervisor was how many people request to use the bathroom at the incinerator. And correct me if I'm wrong, you said it was a rare occasion.
Correct.
Then the question becomes, do we put in a porta potty which has to be maintained, and especially with winter coming, if there is no need for it?
I see them all over the state in the winter, but here we go.
Okay?
Now, are you people paid position?
We get,
Yes.
we get a stipend that amounts to about $5,000 for the year,
Each one of them?
each one of us. I think mine is $330 a month after taxes.
Another question I got, and I'm just picking at straws here, okay? This skateboard thing out here. I've only seen one person in 7 years. And what's it cost to maintain it? Is it really worth maintaining?
Well, again, that is not just a skate park. That is for skateboards. It's used for ice skating in the wintertime. And that was something that was done 4 or 5 or 6 years ago now, where we had a bunch of kids who were in that time skateboarding, and we did that as a means to try to keep them off the street and give them a place to skateboard. Skateboarding since has tremendously diminished. You don't see hardly any kids doing it anymore.
They want the big.
But there are quite a few that use it.
But, so that's how that came to pass, was try to keep them off the road.
And one person that stuck to it was changing it over season to season, okay? Next one. I don't care who addresses this, and I'm just curious. Does any town employees get special use of equipment facilities in this town? Yes, no, I don't know is all it takes.
Try that again? What do you mean?
All it takes is a yes, no, I don't know answer, and I've never heard a politician able to do that yet.
I'm not a politician.
Well, it's an elected official, okay?
Okay.
All right. Is any town employees getting special use of facilities or equipment in this town? Yes,
Not that
no?
I'm aware of.
So you don't know?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, all right. And one more, okay? I hang down at the Circle K station or whatever. You know where it is?
Yeah.
2860. And some of the guys were telling me they used to have a car show up here at Yankee Smokehouse. I went to it a few times, every Thursday. And the discussion came around is why they got rid of it. And I'm told that you guys required a $500 permit and police and ambulance to be there for every show.
Absolutely not for.
Okay, I just want to know.
My understanding is that it was moved from up there over to Boyles over on Route
Boyles,
25 in Effingham. Why they chose to move over there, I have no idea.
Because if it was decided by this board, it would be illogical, because now they're spending the money having it. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was not decided by this board.
Okay, great, my question's done.
Okay, somebody else under public input.
Doesn't have jurisdiction over it.
Excuse me?
This board does not have jurisdiction over that contract.
Well, we would have, except they used to do it, Connie, in this, like, they used to do that under a temporary event ordinance. We did change the rules on the temporary event ordinance so that they had to operate under their site plan, but what they were doing up there was permissible under their site plan. So the end of the story is, there was nothing from the town of Ossipee which stopped them from doing that car show up there.
I'm just trying to get
No,
it straight.
you asked a question and I tried to answer you. Somebody else under public input. Okay. I do have briefly on our agenda, Duncan Lake cleanup, Craig Brady, and the White Horse Addiction Center.
Yeah, my name is Eric Moran, and I'm the manager of the Shed, which is the White Horse Recovery Services. And we are in the beginning stages of launching a sober crew for landscaping. The town has really been very supportive of everything that we're doing, so we thought we would like to go clean up. That's the only public beach in Ossipee, I believe. So we thought it'd be a great...
Current.
Yes, I know the good one's coming. So our thought was that we'd be able to give back to this community that so gratefully gave to us, and we would like to really make that beach shine, not only to give some of our guys something to do, to just to make this community a little bit better. This is not just about drug addiction, this is about lifting the entire community. So,
Trying to give back a little.
yeah, I just really want to do this as my first major project.
I have,
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome.
I have zero problem with that. Craig, the only thing I would ask is that you just coordinate through him. If I hear you correctly, it's not just about cleaning up, you want to do some work down there.
Yes,
Okay.
we're talking flowers. Basically, I want to make that a place people want to go again.
No, I think that's wonderful, and we will gladly welcome it. If you would simply coordinate with Craig on what it is you want to do down there, and keep us appraised, that's all. But other than that, absolutely, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Great, I'll be in touch.
Okay. All right, no other public input yet? All right, we're going to delve into the red folder. The first order of business we have is the minutes of the Selectmen's Department work session. I gotta back up. We did have at 3:30 a non-public session under 91A3 2C, which is a tax matter. I guess we've been criticized maybe that we need to go a little farther than just simply quoting the statute. But in this particular case, was held in non-public because it contains information that may be detrimental to a person's reputation. When we meet with our tax collector, 99.999% of the time, it's for people who are behind on their taxes, and we're working with them to try to make payment arrangements, etc. So it is, in fact, would be detrimental to a person's reputation to discuss that matter publicly. And that is the rationale for the non-public. And I am going to make a motion based on that we seal the non-public minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now into the red folder. Does that meet all the requirements, Ed?
Yeah, 2/3 to close has to be noted in the public section of the meeting minutes.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you heard me as you were going out, we got a little criticism that we weren't giving the full explanation as to why it qualified. I thought we were covering it when I told them tax matters, but.
Well, the main reason is you're supposed to tell the public when you're going to move out of their view.
Correct.
And that goes for when you're
Yep.
going into the meeting, roll call vote, and
Yep.
then when you're coming out, 2/3 to seal,
Yep,
and it has to be noted in the public meeting minutes. And that's so, if I ask for the non-public meeting minutes,
Yep.
that way I can check in the public minutes if they were sealed.
Yeah.
I don't have to go have you divulge or go into the
correct.
non-public.
And I
meeting.
think we've been consistently doing that. The criticism was that we can't simply quote the statute, that we need to go further and explain
Why you're sealing.
why you're sealing the minutes. And I'm hoping that what I just said covers that.
More is always better.
Okay, all right. So back to this, we have the the minutes of the Selectmen's Department work session, which occurred on Monday, July 31st. I make a motion, we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And we have the minutes of the actual Selectmen's meeting, which occurred on Monday, July 31st. I make a motion, we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have our check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 8/5 was $32,934.12. Payroll taxes in the amount of $10,122.66. Accounts payable for week ending 7/29 was $63,039.64. We dispersed to the fire precincts $110,117.83. We made a school payment in the amount of $1,048,904. And then there were deduction payments in the amount of $40,166.76. For a total dispersed, this last week, of $1,305,285.01. Don't forget the 1 cent. We also did accounts payable for the water and sewer in the amount of $6,414.36. I make a motion, we sign these.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. These are the check voucher totals. We do review each and every bill and initial them after they've been through the department head and approved. People wonder why I scribbled my signature. Excuse me. We have a payroll reimbursement request, and this is from the Water and Sewer Department, in the amount of $3,353.08. I make a motion, we sign. All in favor?
Aye.
We have the Highway Department work log, which is here in the folder for anybody to look at if they'd like. We have a contract for use of facilities. This is for the Main Street program to use the gym, tables, chairs, and kitchen on August 25th. The schedule's been okayed by Craig. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have another contract for use of facilities. This is for a 100th birthday party to be held. Not sure where it's being held. This is being held here, oh, Craig left. 100th birthday party on August 12th, 1 p.m. Well, I think it's just for chairs. It's been okayed by Craig. Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's a petition and poll license. This is for public service. They're erecting a new pole on Cassie Cove Road. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a letter from the Lakes Region Planning Commission. Someone will remember by the update that we just received from their director or whoever he was. We were participating in an electricity aggregation initiative through Lakes Region Planning. If their calculations are correct, it will result in a savings of $9,762 to the town of Ossipee by doing this.
What's the cost?
It doesn't cost anything.
There is a cost.
There is a cost.
The 9,000 was net. I think it was a $900.
800, correct, I stand corrected, $883.60 is the proportional share of the consultant fee. Very good.
I read.
I did too, I didn't see that. Anything you want to add to it?
No.
I'm going to make a motion that we appoint our town administrator to be our authorized representative in this matter.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I'm going to leave that in the red folder for you, Ellen. I missed one.
Me too.
This is a one-year agreement with GIS Services. This is on our tax map software support. It did increase $100. Was $500. This is a $600 contract. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We have a statement which I believe, have reason to believe, based on our email back and forth, is being considered and signed tonight at the Freedom Board of Selectmen, Freedom Board of Selectmen meeting. And it's going to be a joint statement released by both the Ossipee and Freedom Select Boards. It reads as follows. In a recent meeting between the Freedom and Ossipee Select Boards, we are all in agreement with the following. One, that both the Freedom and Ossipee Select Boards clearly recognize the cultural, environmental, and economic value of Ossipee Lake. Two, both the Freedom and Ossipee Select Boards are committed to protecting the lake. And three, that in the future, prior to filing lawsuits, we will meet in a room, face-to-face, to hopefully avoid misinformation and misunderstanding leading to unnecessary legal confrontations and unnecessary costs to our taxpayers. We all agree that Ossipee, Freedom, and Effingham need to begin a serious conversation regarding how much more use Ossipee Lake can take and what actions are necessary to preserve the lake for future generations. This lawsuit has made that more difficult, not less. We will get past this. And if Green Mountain Conservation Group or anyone else wants a seat at that table, they need to start by not pitting one town against the other. This is mutually agreed upon and will be signed by, I hope, all 6 of the selectmen. I make a motion that the Ossipee Board of Selectmen sign this letter.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. There will be more to be said about that, about this whole issue, but we thought it felt it very important when we met as two boards that we issued this type of a joint statement. There'll be more to follow. We received a copy, this is a copy of a check we received from Planet Aid in the amount of $113.15. We have a letter from the planning board requesting that the Board of Selectmen put out to bid a small landscaping job to clean up 1.5 acres and dispose of an abandoned 30-foot travel trailer / camper at the Morse Pit to reclaim the property.
There was escrow money for that.
Well, that's just gonna say that there's escrow money
There's escrow,
available
yeah,
to
$6,800.
pay for that. Connie, do you wanna fill in any blanks?
The Morse Pit has been in court since 2004 or so. They were ordered by the court to clean the pit up and reclaim it. They never did. There's $6,842 held by Sager and they have a lien against it. If that is not enough to do the cleanup, then we can probably bring it out of the Lakes region that we didn't pay, you people paid. At this time, Rick, we're supposed to have a site view next Tuesday night, and we can explain it more to you, exactly what we want done.
And I get that, I knew there was a fund already established, I knew there was escrow money. Don't you think it might make sense, though, to wait to act on this until after you have that on-site meeting? Or we should,
I mean, we can't give you specifics this week. Next week, we will have them for you.
but what I'm saying is, would those specifics be helpful to putting out to, to put out to bid? I mean, it's all well and good to say, clean up how much on 1.5 acres, what's out there? I mean, I think it might make some sense to have some more specifics.
Basically, you're gonna wanna use some wood chips, spread 2 piles, and that's basically what it's gonna be.
I'm making a suggestion, we just table this until we hear back from the planning board on more specifics about what needs to be put out to
I
bid.
agree.
Okay? All right. We have an official notice of hearing. This is according to RSA 676-4. This is from the planning board. Is scheduled the following public hearing for Tuesday, August 15th. The Freight House, and is regarding McDonald's restaurant in West Ossipee. They are redeveloping, including upgrades to the drive-through feature, renovation to the building, construction of a new trash enclosure, and compliance with the ADA regulations. That hearing is scheduled for the August 15th at the Freight House at 7 p.m. We have the recycling center daily cash log. For the month of July, they collected $9,224.35. It's here for anybody to look at if they'd like. We have the highway department work log for 7/23 to 7/29. It's here in the folder. We have a copy of a check. It's a quarterly payment from the highway block grant. The check we received for $54,281.69. We have the consent calendar from the executive council, which is here. If anybody would like to look at, provided to us on a regular basis. We have an announcement of a public hearing. The Town of Ossipee Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing pursuant to RSA 3195B here in this gymnasium on Monday, August 21st at 5 o'clock to receive public comment and input on accepting and spending unanticipated funds this year. Under Senate Bill 38, the town has received $151,081.10 in addition to the normal highway block grant money. Legislation states that no funds shall be used for supplanting locally budgeted and approved funds for roads or bridge maintenance or construction. So we will be having that public hearing in conjunction with our selectmen's meeting on August 21st here in this gym. We have a letter from Charter Communications talking about their scheduling and their programming changes. It's here in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. We have a water and sewer warrant authorizing the tax collector to collect $5,988 even. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Old business. Water Department rules and regulations. Where are we at?
This is Ellen. She's doing the proofing.
In progress.
Okay.
We got there.
We're close to being ready to adopt it.
Yeah, I think I only have 2 pages left on
Okay.
revise.
All right. Any other old business? New business.
One more question for Mr. Bruce.
Yeah, hold on just one second. Let me get to public input in just a second.
Emerson, excuse me, is it Emerson?
New business.
Yes.
Yes.
Employee of the year.
Yes. Under new business, we had a nice luncheon here on, what day do we have it?
Thursday.
Thursday. Whew, I was here. Food is great. In recognition of our employee of the year, who was sitting right here, Mr. William Eldridge. Very much deserved. Very much. A nice luncheon, cake, plaque.
Very
You absolutely deserve it. I've said many times over my career that you never know how somebody's gonna do in a leadership position when you promote, but many times, and you are one of them who absolutely has risen to the occasion. And I don't say that lightly. You do a good job. I know you're respected by the guys down back. You're very, very helpful to Brad and everything that goes on down there, so we thank you. And again, congratulations. Thank you. Anything else on the new business, Ms. Ellen? Okay?
I don't.
Now, just one question, Bruce. You know I'm out filming, okay? We all know. I think me and Billy went about that this morning. We settled our differences too. And I was down there filming one day, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, all right? But 2 of your employees don't have dump stickers on their vehicles. How are they? I should ask them how they get rid of the trash, but you don't see them dumping their trash there, do you? Okay, all right. I just want to know.
You have to ask them.
Okay, no problem. Just rousing my curiosity, that's all.
Okay. Anything else on the public input? Yes, sir.
First, I'd like to congratulate the award you received. I think it's well deserved. You have a good opportunity here. In about an hour, the Governor Wentworth Regional School District is having their meeting. They're rotating meeting, and they're going to be meeting in Brookfield, and I'll be there. They also watch. Do you have anything specific that you would like to ask the Governor Wentworth Regional School District? Here's your opportunity.
Ready for that one?
Well, listen, the only thing that I will continue to raise, and I will continue to raise it so long as I'm sitting here, is I do not believe that our school district is doing enough on the prevention side of the drug abuse issue. There needs to be, and I believe there is pretty universal agreement on this now, we cannot police ourselves out of this problem. We cannot incarcerate ourselves out of this problem. There needs to be a balance between prevention, enforcement, and treatment. Enforcement, I think, is there. We're making great strides on the treatment side. There needs to be a lot more done. I seriously question what we're doing for prevention.
Last year,
I don't think we're doing enough.
Last year, I did ask them that question on video, and they did, you know, they outlined what they do in the school as in curriculum to battle that. Now, what I'm most likely going to ask them tonight is that the last time I asked them that, has there been any change in the amount of, you know,
And the
resolutions?
problem, and I actually watched that response, and what I would also ask them is if we're doing enough. And in my mind, so long as we are continuing to bury 20-year-old kids, we are not doing enough. I think they need to keep that at the forefront, and so long as we are burying young people, we're not doing enough on all three fronts, in fairness.
The other question I'm going to ask, and I wanted your support on this, is the budget.
Mhm.
Are you satisfied with the budget process? And do you feel that we're getting our money's worth for the amount of money we're paying?
Anybody else want to jump in on one of these?
Go
Before
right
I
ahead,
get my
Ricky.
cell phone?
You're doing a great
No,
job.
Yeah, thank you. I am not prepared to be critical of their line-by-line budget because I quite frankly I don't know what it is. There is a perception which is consistently communicated to me that Ossipee kids do not always have access to all of the programs in that high school. It was an issue when I was there. I know it was an issue when they were there. The Ossipee participation level on the sports teams was minimal, unless it was somebody that was so good they couldn't be overlooked. If they want to run it as a private club, then maybe those towns ought to pay for it. But I do have consistent criticisms about the access to the outlying towns.
Now, you don't mean the recreation part of it. You're
No, I-
talking about the actual school curriculum?
No, I'm talking more about the sports programs, which represent a very hefty amount in that school budget. I'm talking about baseball and football and all of the other organized sports teams. If you look at the number of the percentage of Ossipee students in that school and then look at the percentages of Ossipee students on those sports teams, I think you will find a disparity. There's always been one.
Well, are you saying that the students in Ossipee are not signing up for the programs, or are you saying they're purposely being kept out of the programs?
I'm not prepared to say that about them now, but I can tell you when I was there, and others are here snickering because they know it's true when they were there, that Ossipee kids did not make the sports teams even when they tried out.
I don't know how they're going to answer that.
I don't either, other than I hope that they're continuing to look at the participation in all school programs, whether it's sports or otherwise. Is there a disparity between the percentage of people involved in those programs versus the population from that particular town? I think that could tell them some things that they might ought to look at. If Ossipee represents, say, 15% of the student body, but there's only 2% of Ossipee children in this program or 4% in that program, and it seems to me that that ought to cause some concern to make sure that there are not roadblocks, or is it just the transportation, et cetera, which causes a problem? I think it's something that ought to be looked at.
There's been every year that I go to that meeting, it's often heard that no one goes to the meetings. And if you do go, it's pretty depressing because you might have one or two people that might go. That's it. And they have them at 7 o'clock in the evening. And even deliberative session where all the budgetary stuff would be hammered out, only a certain section of the electorate seems to go to that.
And I think that even less, in my mind, even less go to it under SB2 than went to it before. You know, now that it is is run as an SB2 budget so that it's simply voted on and ratified at town meeting. To be frank, if every Ossipee resident, every single one of them were to come here and vote no, they would still be more than overridden by the yes votes from Wolfboro and Tuftonboro. So when you end up with that kind of a disparity in the amount of voice somebody has in a $55 million budget, it doesn't also surprise me that not an awful lot of people go to the hearings. There's, and that's an institutional issue which I don't blame the school board for. I don't know how you fix that. Right here tonight, we got 4,400 residents in town, and other than the employees that work for us, how many people come to a meeting? We've moved meetings, we've done it, and we're willing to move them again. If we had a group of people who wanted to consistently meet at 6 o'clock, I don't care. How do you get people involved? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I tried to submit legislation trying to fix how the budget's done. All the lobbyists show up. New Hampshire Teachers Association, New Hampshire Municipal Association, they all show up and defeat any change that occurs. And I don't know why that is, and I don't know if it would take.
Oh, you know why it is. I mean, but listen, not to belabor this, but when you can have a default budget which is higher than the question that you're voting on, because they're allowed to build in all of these different increases, how is that a choice? So you're going to vote no to spending $20 million when their default budget, if it doesn't pass, is $21 million. And I'm just using those figures as, but in several years, the default budget is higher than the budget that you're voting on. That makes 0 sense. That's guaranteeing passage, or you're going to be a fool to vote no. It's going to cost you more. That cannot pass the smell test down in Concord, I wouldn't think, forever.
Well, I have to say in closing, if anybody has any questions or any comments or suggestions, just meet me afterwards and tell me. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anything else? Yes,
Just a quick announcement, we had our household hazards collection on Saturday. I think it was our the best attendance we've had since I've been here. We had 214 cars come through. We usually end up with half a dozen lulls during the morning there. What do we have, one, maybe about half hour before the end of the morning there?
Yeah.
And that was it. We had 2 lines of cars right out pretty to the street all morning long. And you know, we had a new vendor this year, Clean Ventures, doing the hazardous collection instead of Clean Harbors, and they did a great job there. I mean, they were taking 2 cars at a time through there steady, and there wasn't any holdup on that end at all. And
Actually, they moved it actually inside.
Yep.
Did it as a drive-through, right in the
was nice,
maintenance bay, which worked out well.
worked out real well. I think we'll do that even in the good weather because it'll keep out of the sun and stuff. So.
Sure.
Yep.
Good.
So it worked out very well. Do you want to say anything, Bo, about when we're scheduled for, I think you said in September for the video camera work, was it?
Yeah, I got the 9th, 10th, and 11th to have the video camera work
For
done.
the sewer
Do
line.
we hear anything back on the leak detection?
I haven't heard nothing yet.
Because they were supposed to be here in July.
Right.
This was in July.
So
It's a
maybe-
process, and I can,
Reach out to them and see if we can
Yeah,
get
I can find out.
a better schedule on when that's coming. Okay.
yeah, I can do that.
Anything on the bridge, Brad?
No, nothing new on that. I'll get an update for the next meeting on that, see where we're at
See where
with
we
that. Yep.
Okay.
That was it.
The only other thing by way of announcement is next week on the 14th here at 6 o'clock, New Hampshire DOT is doing a presentation on the intersection of 28 and 171 improvements, which my latest supposedly is that we're going to have a roundabout down there. So people should come the 14th, 6 o'clock here in the gym. There's nothing else. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all very much.